Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be doing my GWS vs Carlton AFL fantasy review in one of the sloppiest games I've ever seen. It was, the skills-wise, was ridiculous. I'm pretty sure, super coach-wise, this was one of the worst games for anyone because, Docherty, who ended up scoring 130, only put up like 80 odd in Supercoach, as I believe there was a ridiculous amount of turnovers. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe. There it is. Turn on the notification bell, and so you know when I upload further. There will be a lot of reviews this week as I get my phone so I can actually look up the stats better on this game. And so now let's get into here. Kelly did really well for GWS, 126. For anyone who held him, he did what he needed to do, I guess. Even beat his break even from having 15 minutes or 20 minutes off in the first round when he got concussed. So that was really good for him. If we look here, I'm just looking through, turnovers wise was 84 to 75 turnovers, and usually teams average low to mid 60s. So there was an increase of about 130 odd % of the turnovers that you should expect. So really, really bad skills wise, and it was a pretty shocking game, to be honest. Efficiency 37% and 44% from inside 50, and that's all right actually, but it was just the 9 goals 10 and 9 goals 20 that really made this game look bad. Tom Green did exactly what I needed to do. I captained him in my draft league because I thought Merritt might get a tag somewhere, and he did what I needed him to do. He's in my my normal squad, like he is in with my normal classic squad, like he's with most people, and just did the role that he needed to do. Looked really, really good. Gave away a few free kicks, but I mean, he got some back from Cripps, which was just a nice battle, to be honest, those two. I think Tom Green ended up with 35 or so touches and Cripps 42. 34 touches and 42, but I mean, Cripps came out on top, so he'll probably get the 3 votes, I want to say, and Docherty 2, and probably Newman 1, I would say, because no one else, I don't think you can really give it to Charlie for 3 goals, 2 goals 3 or something. I don't think you can. Aish did really well in the last quarter to get up to 99, but I wouldn't be picking him. He's too volatile, I think. Cogs, 86, really gave away a sloppy free kick in the last quarter, which was quite funny. I don't think it was a dissent call, to be honest, especially given that I think it was McGovern about a minute later had the same exact arms out appealing for a free kick, basically saying you got to give this free kick, and it wasn't called a dissent call, which was quite ironic, I guess. And I think there's something that needs to be done, because subjective calls just do not make sense in the world. In this AFL, with umpires especially, you need to make it as objectively as possible, the calls, and some of these decisions, some of these rules just need to be made more objective. Haynes, Whitfield, 82. He's going to drop dramatically in price. He's just not the player that he was, to be honest with you. I mean, after the first quarter, if he had a normal first quarter here, he'd be looking good. But, just not the player that I thought he was. Ward had the funny retirement April Fool's joke, and that was... I actually thought he was going to be retiring for a second, because it was the first April Fool's joke of the day for me. But obviously not. Daniels looked alright, especially at his price, but I wouldn't get him just because there's no point getting a guy who's 400k just to sit on the bench. Flynn, Riccardi, Lloyd, no one did here. Ralston I actually thought was really good, and I think he should hold his spot, although I don't think he will, just because GWS probably have some people coming back. Although their main injuries are actually, for the main players, are actually longer term, like 2 or 3 more weeks away, so I think he might actually hold his spot, which would be good, but I don't think he has much fancy growth in him yet. Sam Taylor just not doing what I expected him to do in my preseason thoughts, but he's back down to what a key defender should be doing, but I mean, it was in the wet, so you can't really expect much from him. Callahan scoring 48 really helped me out. I mean, it helped me out because it meant that me fielding Holland and other players really were the best choice, actually, out of everyone in that mid-prices and lower. That has a percentage team selection of about 5% or so. I think I pretty much hit on all those guys, so that's really good. And then no one else here. Hamilton I thought was really good before getting subbed out. He was on track for about a 55 or 60 probably with the way he was playing. Then you come over here and it was the Doc show. And yeah, if you look over here, he was actually at 21 after 7 minutes, and it looked quite ridiculous. Didn't do much in the first end of the first, but then came out in the second quarter. And all I've got to say is you just hold your premiums because they're gonna do stuff. And Docherty's gonna go down by like 4K, but that's really good. His break even was lower down to around, I think, 110, 115 again, maybe a little bit higher. But, he's done the job that he needed to do, and that's the reason why he's a D1. And you got Nick Newman here, who did really well. I mean, he was a guy that I thought would do really well this year. I thought he'd step it up, but I think this is just an outlier game, to be honest. Paddy Cripps should get 3 votes if we're being honest in the game. He had, 25 at halftime, 25 touches at half, and slowed down a little bit in the second half, only having 17, if you want to say that he slowed down. But ended up with 111, and that was just a really good output from him. Sard was pretty good all throughout the game. He really wanted to run and bounce, and that was really good to see because he's similar to Blakey, I think, in scoring output, maybe a little bit higher just because of the players that Carlton have compared to Sydney, but he plays a very similar role, and it was just, what they needed in the game was just someone to just be able to run at 10-15 metres and boot at another 50-55, and that's what he did. Then you have Silvana here, I'm surprised he did that, and going by his average, it will be an outlier game, I think. Shearer, 82 in the end. He really just did really well in the middle quarters, but nothing else really. Curnow stood up as a key forward and really did well in the second and fourth quarter. Took a big mark and scored a big goal here in the 27-minute mark to basically kill the game off. You got Motlop here, who is pretty good. Akers really fell away. He really fell away, and I think it's just he's going to be one of those players that averages 80, 85 for Carlton just because of their midfield, especially because you've got to remember, and Hewitt again had a pretty off game. You've got to remember that these guys are getting increased roles because of Walsh being out. So when Walsh comes in, it's going to be pretty hard for them to keep up their fancy output. I mean, Cripps and Docherty should be able to, but other than that, and Sard should be able to. But other than that, I think Shearer drops a little bit, Akers drops a little bit, Hewitt drops a little bit. Wiedering had a pretty good game. He's starting to get a lot of the kick marks off of Docherty in the sense that they just kick it back to one another and try and move it forward. But yeah, really, really good at the moment. Mitch McGovern was pretty good, really good second, and that's when I guess he started to get it off Docherty, I'm pretty sure. If we look off here, they really combined pretty well. Durden was really good with pressure, but not necessarily fancy-wise. I think he put up a pretty good score in, he might have put up a better score in Supercoach, but I'm not 100%. Tom DeConin did all right throughout the game. Ollie Holland had a terrible middle quarters, but if you take that out, he gets 49 across the other two. He looked all right, which was pretty good, but just struggled to, I guess, get on top, I should say. In that he was on very early. We got up to 28 pretty quickly, and I thought, he's going to be on for like an 80 or 90 here, but 56 is good enough for some cash gen. At his price, he should go up another 40, 35k, getting him into that range of 350, 360. Hopefully he has another 2 or 3 good games and gets his way up to 500k so that we can trade him out and get him up to, we'll trade him and Warple probably, hopefully together, and that'll get us up to a very high premium, like a Brayshaw or an Oliver or something like that. And it means that I can get, I guess, just a better player as well. And then you have, what are we up to? No one else really here. Cowan started the game horrifically. He was on 4 in 13 minutes into the second quarter. Came good in the third quarter, got a couple of kick marks to get up to, what did he end up with? 45, but again, didn't get up to Wilmot's score, which was good, and outscored by pretty much everyone that I have in the defense. So another tick for me with my emergencies, I guess, or picking people on field. I just really stuffed up the captain this week, which sort of sucks, but moving on. Fisher, Kerno, and no one else here really did anything. Harry Mackay did his usual of not coming up in one game and then coming up crazy in another. Yeah, he doesn't look that good this year, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, that's my review of the scrappy game of the week. That's what it's going to be called. And yeah, just Carlton too strong in the end, or I guess too strong in the sense that they just had overwhelming opportunities and finally got enough behinds on the board to beat GWS. Beat them by 10 behinds and no goals. So, but that's the review there, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.